Hi everyone, so how different can the weather be in the UK? The last video I uploaded was a sunny reading vlog and now here I am, jumper, blanket, etc. So I'm here today to talk you through my May TBR, and that is mainly going to be comprising of, again, same as last month, books that are going to be released this month. Now I'm not sure, because I'm filming this in advance, just how well the last month will have gone. So I might have to get through some more of my, in fact I will have to, there's no matter about it, I will have to get through some of my April TBR before I can move on to this May one. So this is going to be a particularly huge TBR when you consider the April one that's in front of it. So if you've not yet checked out my April TBR, I will leave it linked in the cards and also in the description down below. I highly recommend you check it out because some of the books that I am reading this month will be from there. So the first book I want to talk to you about today is What Did I Do by Jessica Jarlvi. And this is a psychological thriller. So this one caught my eye because this is about a girl who goes on the run and you don't know what she's gone on the run from. It says in here, on the run from her life, from herself. So, you know, this one's got a real mystery sort of aspect about it, but she goes on the run to Sweden. And I used to live in Sweden, so I find it really interesting when you can find a book set in somewhere where you've lived before but don't necessarily live now. It kind of can take you back there. That's kind of what I'm looking for anyway, so I thought that'd be quite interesting. But it says on here that when two murders happen in Chicago, a witch hunt ensues and Kristen quickly finds herself at the centre. The problem is she isn't sure of what she did or didn't do. Armed with a life insurance payout, she runs away to Sweden to start her life over, but it's not that easy to escape the past. And whatever she's done, someone is on her trail wanting her to pay. I'm really excited for this one. It looks just my cup of tea. Next we have Her Hidden Life by V.X. Alexander. And this one is a World War II historical fiction, somehow with links to something to do with Hitler. I don't really know. I basically really wanted to get back into historical fiction this year, so when I saw it was historical fiction and about the World War II era, I thought, that's all I need to know. Next we have The House Swap by Rebecca Fleet, and this is also a thriller. It says, be careful who you let in. When Caroline and Francis receive an offer to house swap from their city flat to a townhouse in a leafy, upscale London suburb, they jump at the chance for a week away from home. As the couple settles in, the old problems that permeate their marriage, his unhealthy behaviours, her indiscretions, start bubbling to the surface. But while they attempt to mend their relationship, their neighbour, an intense young woman, is showing a little too much interest in their activities. Meanwhile, Caroline slowly begins to uncover some signs of life in the Stark house. Signs of her life. The flowers in the bathroom or the music might seem innocent to anyone else, but to her they are clues. It seems the person they have swapped with is someone who knows her, someone who knows the secrets she's desperate to forget. That sounds really different, and I'm really excited to get to that. Next we have We Are Young by Cat Clarke, and this is a YA contemporary novel. And it says, on the same night Evan's mother marries local DJ Breakfast Tim, Evan's brand new stepbrother Lewis is found unconscious and terribly injured and the only survivor of a horrific car crash. A media furore erupts with the finger of blame pointed firmly at stoner Lona Lewis. Everyone else seems to think the crash was drugs related, but Evan isn't buying it. With the help of her journalist father, Harry, she decides to find out what really happened that night. As Evan delves deeper into the lives of the three teenagers who died in the crash, she uncovers some disturbing truths and a secret that threatens to tear her family and the community apart forever. And I'm really intrigued by this one, even without the sort of mystery aspect of it. Car crashes are things that happen to, sadly, far too many people, and I'm sure almost everyone has lost someone in a car crash at some point, and I feel like it's a really, as far as my own experiences go, not covered enough topic, and so I'd really quite like to see what this author has done with it. Next we have Dead Girls by Abigail Tarttelin. This is another thriller, and this one says, when her best friend Billy is found murdered, 11-year-old... What kind of name is that? Terra? I'm not sure. Fearless and forthright, considers it her duty to find the killer. Aided by a Ouija board, Billy's ghost, and the spirits of 4 other dead girls, she's determined to succeed. The trouble with Thera, though, is that she doesn't always know when to stop, and sometimes there's a fine line between doing the right thing and doing something very, very bad indeed. This is the author that wrote Golden Boy, which I haven't read but I do own, and I remember that was very popular back a couple of years ago, and so I feel like this could be a great one too. Next we have The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green, and Sally Green is the author of the Half Bad series, which I haven't read, I do own. You know me by now. And so when I saw this, and it was going to be another new series by her, a fantasy series by her, I was like, why not? So this is about a princess, a traitor, a hunter and a thief. 4 teenagers with the fate of the world in their hands. 4 nations destined for conflict. Next we have Whistle in the Dark by Emma Healey. And this is the author that wrote Elizabeth is Missing. I think I read it either last year or the year before, and I absolutely adored that book. I think I gave it like 4 stars or something. So when I saw that this author got a new book coming out, I was like, oh, I need to read that. This one is about Jen and Hugh Maddox, who have just survived every parent's worst nightmare. Relieved but still terrified, they sit by the hospital bed of their 15-year-old daughter, Lana, who was found bloodied, bruised and disorientated after going missing for 4 days during a mother-daughter vacation in the country. As Lana is mute in bed, unwilling or unable to articulate what happened to her during that period, the national media speculates wildly, and Jen and Hugh try to answer many questions. Where was Lana? How did she get hurt? Was a teenage boy who befriended her involved? How did she survive outside for those days? Even when she returned to the family home and school routine, Lana only provides the same frustrating answers over and over. I can't remember. So this makes me really sort of intrigued into what happened, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of depth in this because Elizabeth is Missing was really intelligent and clever and twisty, so I'm sure this will be too. Next we have Hell Bay by Kate Rhodes, and this is a mystery crime novel. It says that Ben plans to work in his Uncle Ray's boatyard on the tiny silly island of Briar, where he was born, hoping to mend his shattered nerves. His plans go awry when the body of 16-year-old Laura Trescothick, what is with names in this video today, is found on the beach at Hell Bay. Her attacker must still be on the island because no ferries have sailed during a 2-day storm. So this has got maybe like a locked room mystery kind of feel to it. Next we have The Stranger on the Bridge by Jonny Benjamin and Britt Pflüger. I think that's how you say it. Looks a bit kind of Scandinavian. I feel like that would be pronounced Pflüger. Anyway. In 2008, 20-year-old Jonny Benjamin stood on Waterloo Bridge about to jump. A stranger saw his distress and stopped to talk with him, a decision that saved Jonny's life. Fast forward to 2014 and Jonny, together with Rethink Mental Illness, launched a campaign with a short video clip so that Jonny could finally thank that stranger who put him on the path to recovery. So this is all about his kind of experience in that period of time, and it's like a memoir of that, so this should be really different but also really interesting and insightful. I went on a bit of a non-fiction kick with requesting for this month, and so I've also got The Language of Kindness, A Nurse's Story, and so this is another non-fiction memoir, and this one is about a lady called Christie Watson who was a nurse. So I feel like this is going to be really heartbreaking at times but also interesting and just probably quite a difficult read at times from what I'm scanning here. So everything from like premature babies fighting for their lives to like cancer. Yeah, this is going to be quite the tough read, I think. Next we have The Wisdom of Sally Red Shoes by Ruth Hogan, and this is the author of The Keeper of the Lost Things, which I feel like I own but I haven't read. This is described as being... So this one is about Masha, who is drowning. Once a spirited, independent woman with a rebellious streak, her life has been forever changed by a tragic event 12 years ago. Unable to let go of her grief, she finds solace in the silent company of the souls of her local Victorian cemetery and at the town's Lido, where she seeks refuge underwater, safe from the noise and pain. For a chance encounter with 2 extraordinary women, the fabulous and wise Kitty Muri, a convent girl turned magician's wife turned 70-something roller disco fanatic. Yeah, this just looks again like something I've been quite into recently. I like kind of looking at people trying to use friendship to help them get through things, ever since reading The Woman at 72 Dairy Lane the other week. Next we have Lucky Break by Rob Stevens, and I'm not really sure what this one was about. I can't remember at all. Friendship and someone again wanting help to sort their life out. Bit of a trend for me. Next we have Tomorrow by Damian Dibben, and this is about an immortal dog that travels through time to try and work out who actually granted him this immortality, from what I can tell. It's labelled as a fantasy historical fiction, so I mean that cover's cute. I thought this would just be a really nice different read. I love reading about dogs and I love historical fiction, so the combination usually works well. Next we have A Secret History of Witches by Louisa Morgan, and this one stood out to me because I'm sure it was Aoife over at Fred Weasley Died Laughing actually picked this up from the library recently, and so when I saw this was available to request on NetGalley, I was like, oh yes, sorted. So this is again, historical fiction fantasy novel. This one follows witches though, and that's all I really know, and that's all I really need because this sounds like it's going to be right up my tree. Next we have A Secret Beat by Rebecca Denton, and I can't remember what this one's about. Again, you've got one shot. Alexia Falls is 18, living in her parents' New York penthouse and working with superstar boy band The Keep. With her heart set on independence and a career behind the camera, she trades it all for Take It or Leave It internship at London's Bright Star Productions. There she meets fellow intern Greta. Greta's East End upbringing couldn't have been more different from Alexia's, but she's every bit as hungry for a big break. But both girls have secrets. Next we have Tubing by K.A. McKeagney, and this is a psychological thriller. So Polly, 28, lives in London with her perfect on-paper boyfriend. She works a dead-end job on a free London paper. Life as she knows it is dull. She becomes obsessed with a beautiful stranger and sets up encounters with different men via Twitter. At first she thinks she can keep it separate from the rest of her life, but soon things spiral out of control. Then we have Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough, and this is another kind of psychological thriller that I really don't know much about. Whenever you see this advertised everywhere, because you do quite a lot, you usually just see things like this year's biggest new thriller and things about lies, and so I really don't have much of a clue what this book is about, except that it's going to be really twisty, no doubt. You won't know who to trust, there'll be lies and unreliable narrators and all this, that and the other. That's the kind of idea I'm getting from this book. Next we have Geekerella by Ashley Poston, which is a YA retelling of Cinderella that's been out quite a while now actually, but this version that I've got is being republished in 2018, so hence how it's made onto this TBR. But this got quite a lot of good feedback actually when it first came out. A lot of people really enjoyed it, so I was really up for giving it a go. Next we have The Cliff House by Amanda Jennings, and this is another thriller and historical fiction with it. Well, historical fiction, this is where the lines blur a little bit. I recently did the historical fiction tag, which talks about where the line sort of draws with that. So it's a tricky area to know really, but basically this is set in Cornwall in the summer of 1986. I've spent a lot of time in Cornwall. I used to live in Plymouth for a bit, which is in Devon, but right next to Cornwall. So again, I like reading about places that I've been before. So next we have You Were Gone by Tim Weaver. And this is another thriller. It says 3 days after Christmas, a woman walks into a police station. She has no phone and no ID, just a piece of paper with the name of the investigator, David Raker, on it. She tells officers that Raker is her husband. However, when Raker turns up at the police station, he's stunned. The woman looks exactly like his wife. She knows all about their marriage, their history, even their private conversations the two of them had. There's just one problem. Raker's wife has been dead for 8 years. Or has she, obviously, because this is going to be some sort of weird messed up thriller. So who knows what goes on with that. And we also have here Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Caraval, which was out last year, I think, and was really, really popular. I've still not read it. I do own it though, so I'm just going to read them both, hopefully, in the month of May, one after another. That's the plan. And then we finally have Find You in the Dark by Nathan Ripley, and this is described as being a chilling debut thriller in the vein of Dexter and the Talented Mr. Ripley. And I loved Dexter back in the day. So hopefully this will be just my cup of tea, and I really, really hope it is, because it's just the sort of thing I'm after right now. Really, really excited for this one. So that is my May new releases TBR. In terms of what else I'm currently reading, so I'm currently reading The Fire Court by Andrew Taylor, which is the sequel to The Ashes of London. And my current physical book is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and I am currently on page 126. By the time this video goes up, I will probably be close to finishing this, hopefully. And so the plan for the rest of the month will be to just carry on working on the Harry Potter books. So yeah, that's my May TBR, along with, and anything else I might be picking up this month will just be off my April TBR, which I've already mentioned is linked down below and also in the cards. So yeah, if you want to check that out, you'll get a better idea of the sort of selection of books I'll be picking up this month. But thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know what you are planning to read during the month of May. If you've made a TBR, link me to it. I'll gladly watch it, see if you're reading anything that I've read or that I want to read. Let's have a nice little discussion in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me just so if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you soon. Bye bye!